Ground invasion is a suicide mission. It's sending our troops to the slaughterhouse. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so first of all, ground invasion for what? Why? What's the reason behind that? What's the objective? What are we going to achieve? One is for opening a Strait of Hormuz, which is laughable, nonsense. Because it's not about taking them, it's about keeping them. Like Kharg Island, Esh, Kish, Bumusa, what have you. All of these islands, they're very tiny, small islands, and it is like doable, it is possible to go and take over them. But after that, what? What's going to happen after that? Now you are the easy target, cake walking target for Iranians. Why? Because now you are in hostage situation. You are not in the base to run away, to move, or be in Navy or the warship to move, change your location. You are in a stationary position. You cannot move the island. Either you are inside the island or not. If you want to have the island, you have to be there. So it means you are already target over there. So it's going to be very easy targeted. It's going to send our troops to the slaughterhouse. So it's not, you can get there, but it's not like a video game that after you get there, it's a mission mission complete, and then go to the next mission somewhere else and not care about what happened to the previous mission. You have to be there and hold it. And just you can see how Trump is desperate because he let Indians to buy oil from Russia. The whole last year, the beef that United States had with India was because India said, I'm gonna buy from Russia, and United States, no, you won't. And right now for this war, they say, okay, you can buy that. So what was that whole beef and whole argument over the last year? So you see, like, he burned that car. Like, he lifted off Iranian sanction, oil sanction. Like, Iran for years, for decades was under the sanction, couldn't sell oil. And now America is lifting the sanction on Iranians oil while it is at war with Iranians. Like, this is joke. This is beyond parody. But it shows how desperate Trump is right now that he has to do that to calm the market. And he has been begging all of, like, for years, he was saying, oh, NATO is not doing anything. We don't need NATO. We should leave the NATO. And now he's begging NATO countries to come and help. So that's a bad situation. If he really could do it by himself, by ground invasion or what have you, he wouldn't have lifted off the sanction on Russian oil and let Indian buy that. He wouldn't lift the sanction on Iranians while at war with them. And he wouldn't beg NATO. But he's doing all of that because it is impossible. So what is the another objective he can come up with? Well, it can be like getting the enriched uranium that are in Natanz or Isfahan, like that 400 kilogram that in Operation Midnight Hammer he tried to destroy them, but he couldn't destroy them. But they are underground, and it is so hard to get there that even Iranians cannot get there. So like the only thing that would make sense is to go there and get those enriched uranium and go back and save the day and say, okay, we did what we did. But still there is a flaw with that. First of all, it's not like they bought that from somewhere. They enrich by themselves. This is the knowledge they already have. So even if you take them, they can build again. So like, what do you do? So he's not really looking to solve the problem because there was no logical reason to start the war to begin with. But here we are, and it's impossible. And now let's say whatever it is the objective, because if Iranians themselves cannot get there, so how can you go there in few hours and get all of them and exit and take all of those enriched uranium, 400 kilogram with yourself, and you know that how dangerous it is. Like, it is impossible. But whatever the objective is irrelevant. Why? Because now what happened on the rescue operation when we were trying to rescue the second pilot, when the F-15 was struck down, when we went to find that, that was basically a trailer. That was like a demo of what's going to happen to us if we have real ground invasion. First, F-15 was shot down. And then the Warthog, A-10 Warthog, was going to, it is for air superiority. It was shot down as well, but on the coast, on the Persian Gulf, if I'm not mistaken, so the pilot could eject and then leave safely. But then what happened, Iranian realized that, okay, if we shoot them while they're coming inside our borders, so immediately they can go back and then they can rescue themselves. So instead, we're gonna let them, because it happens in South Isfahan and it is like 400 kilometers away from the border, from the south border, from the Persian Gulf. So you are stuck over there. So you are in middle. Like if you look at the Isfahan is almost in the middle of the Iran, and Iran is very wide. And so if you are there and you are stuck, there is no way out anymore. It is not like on the border with the Kuwait or Bahrain or Saudi that you could just, for a few kilometers just fly over there and then land safely. So if you are there, you are stuck. So instead, they let them come in. So when they are trying to rescue, then they attack them instead of attacking them in the beginning and make them leave. So anyway, so when A-10 Warthog got shot down, they realized that, okay, we let them come in and then we're gonna surprise them. So a couple of the, like, there were a couple of two MH6 Little Bird helicopters, they got shot down. There were two HH-16. And also yesterday, I heard that there were two Black Hawks. Well, we denied that. We said it never happened. They could land safely. But the pictures they were showing, like there were smoke coming out while they were flying. But we don't know. But what we know, it is what happened yesterday. So it is not going to be like a B-2 bomber thing. You go above the clouds when nobody can see you and you drop your bombs and leave without being target, without being visible to entire defense system. The thing is, if you have ground invasion, that was the best example. We had one pilot on the ground. So you have to come down, you have to fly low. Then you are exposed to the everyone. That was the video when the chopper was when the helicopter was trying to find the pilot. Regular cops with their pistol, they were shooting at the helicopter. It means it is that low that anybody, a couple of civilians, they got their gun and they were shooting at it. So it means you are exposed. It is not you can be above the cloud, because in order to keep the air, to dominate the air, you have to be close, because your job is to protect those troops that are on the ground. So this is how you will be exposed. It won't be easy job. And now, just think about that, how the story is shady. We say we rescued the second pilot. All right, okay, so just let's go with this narrative. So F-15 got shot down. A-10 Warthog got shot down on the water, on the ocean. Okay, fine. On the Persian Gulf, that's fine. It didn't, it wasn't on the border. We have the video of one chopper, MH6, went there to rescue. It got shot down. So one pilot. And how many people were in that helicopter? Let's say two at least, right? Which it is impossible, but let's say two, because it's a rescue team. You need at least 5-6 people. Let's say two. So now three. The second MH6 went and it got shot down. Again, let's say two. 5 in total. And then C-130 Hercules is one of those big planes. For the rescue, they came and it got shot down. And don't tell me we brought S-130 only to rescue one pilot for one, and only one pilot was driving it. It is impossible. At least 20 people were there. That's the only. Listen, it doesn't make sense to use S-130 for this type of operation if you want to save one. First of all, it is slow. It is not that fast. Second, so you cannot run away very quickly. Second of all, it is so heavy and so big, so it is easy target on air. Third of all, it takes time and you expose yourself. So like you basically are slowing down the mission, unless there are so many people that you cannot take them all in one helicopter. That's why you use one C-130. That's a plan. That's the thing. That's the only scenario makes sense. Because if you are going to rescue only one person, you would want something fast, quick, small, and go there and pick him up and leave as soon as possible. But if you are bringing S-130 Hercules, it's not about one person. It's about all those people, rescue team, that now they are hostage. And then it gets even worse. It gets shot down. And then America sends another C-130. So what happened to the first one? Where are they? And then it got shot down as well. But now, think about that. The F-15 pilot, the rescue team on the first helicopter, the rescue team on the second helicopter, the rescue team on the first C-130, the rescue team on second C-130. And then we say, oh, we rescued the pilot. Okay, what about the rescue team? What about the rest? What happened to them? With what? That's a whole army right now. All those planes, those people that by estimate like at least 5 on each, they are there. Now it's going to be 30 people. How did you take all the 30 people out? And now this is where it gets dark. United States is claiming, oh, because it got stuck in the mud, in the dust, that's why C-130, they couldn't fly back up. That's why we had to shoot them down, so it wouldn't, so Iran couldn't have access to them, couldn't get them. So we have to destroy them so they couldn't have access to the technology or stealing that. Well, first of all, when you look at the pictures, it's a firm land, it's a dry land. It's not muddy, it's not dusty. How could it get stuck? You know, it's not like Aladdin and stuff, like in the sand land, like, you know, like it gets stuck. You look at the picture. How could it get stuck in the mud or sand or anything, right? The second is the picture. Look at those blades. You see how severely they are bent and twisted? This is not when because what they are saying, the narrative, the story is, it was in a stationary mode. We just bombed them to destroy them, so Iranians couldn't have access to them. But in that situation, those blades wouldn't be twisted and bent the way that it is. The only logical explanation is, like when you see helicopters and planes in the movies, when they are falling, they start to rotate. They are rotating and then they crash. And when they crash, they keep sliding on the ground. This is what happened. The blades, those propellers, they wouldn't be bent and twisted if that was just in a stationary mode and they were attacked. So they were shot down by Iranians. So what does that mean? It means they were not saved, because what they are saying is one plane came, we don't know the name, probably Boeing 747, with the first helicopter, second helicopter, the pilot, F-15 pilot, the first C-130 crew, the second C-130 crew. It's going to be the whole army. What type of plane could have all of them? Probably Boeing 747. So let's say that 747 happened, but the story is saying, oh, they were safe. They were out of that plane and they were leaving, and America said, oh, let me shoot them down while we are leaving. But if they were shot down by Iranian, as you can see from the propellers, those blades, they are bent. It means they were not out of Iranians' air when it happens. They were inside the plane. And it happened to them. So does it mean all of them, they died? And we just made up a story? But I hope it is not. But regardless, this was just a demo of what's going to happen if we have ground invasion. It's not a joke. And remember, 24 hours before that operation, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, fired two of his top generals, and so many others. Because probably those people, because Pete Hegseth was the Fox News anchor, like he was working the Fox News and he was drunk and stuff, like he doesn't have any experience. He's a showman. But those people, they had experience on ground. They were real army guy. And probably they said, this is suicide mission, we shouldn't do that. And then Pete Hegseth said, send me your resignation letter. Like basically, if they say like resign, it means he fired them. This happened 24 hours before because probably they warned him, this is what's going to happen, we shouldn't do that. And if we keep firing those people just because disagreeing with us, worst thing going to happen. And I hope it doesn't happen. This is slaughterhouse. As Joe Kent said, call your congressman, call your senator, call the White House. The numbers, it is on his post. And tell them you don't want to do that. Because those people, they sign up to protect us. This mission has nothing to do to defend Americans. If we want to open the Strait of Hormuz, it was already open. We want to get those enriched uranium. They were saying we are giving you. Esivitko was so stupid he couldn't understand. Well, some of the blame goes to Iranian because we need direct communication. But the way that Omanis were sending the message, the way that Witkov understood was like he thought they were bragging about, oh, we have that much uranium. No, they were saying we have that much. So if we give it to you, what are you going to give us in return? And he didn't understand that. He thought they were threatening. They were already giving the uranium. They were saying, okay, get all of them, but give us something, lift some sanction. And the Strait of Hormuz was closed. So there is no objective in here. And now he's threatening to go after infrastructures. And let me tell you something. It is already out of the hand, but it can get so much worse.